Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I'm your host, FD for SageFact.tv, and in this video, we would like to explore why privacy coins are doing rather well. Here, I'm talking of a select few, the likes of Zcash, Dash, and to an extent, Zcash Sync and Rose earlier on. Maybe not so much now, but they've all been doing rather well compared to the rest of the market. But before I proceed, guys, please note that what I'm going to share with you in this video is not financial advice. If you do require financial advice, please approach someone who is actually trained to give you financial advice. The information contained in this video is just for educational as well as entertainment purposes. That said, guys, let's jump into this week's video where we are exploring why privacy coins are roaring back in 2025 when the rest of the market is facing a bear market. That could cover the wider market, but privacy coins seem to be doing rather well. So let's look at why they are gaining popularity. To start off, we've got growing surveillance and analytics pressure. Blockchains like Bitcoin and Ethereum are inherently transparent. Transactions, amounts, addresses are all visible. As analytics firms such as chain analysis get more advanced, metadata exposure of who sent what, how much, and when becomes a serious privacy threat. In 2025, regulators and on-chain enforcement, for example, sanctions, travel rule, and so forth, are tightening. In that context, coins designed for privacy by default or optional privacy become more attractive. For example, privacy coins, currently the likes of Zcash, are outperforming, reviving crypto's oldest idea, digital cash that can move freely without surveillance. We move on to a narrative shift. Maybe it is just that, a narrative shift from everything transparent to choose your privacy. The broader crypto market increasingly reflects institutional flows, ETFs, visible addresses, known big wallets. For some participants, the lack of privacy is a feature, not a bug, but for others, like retail users, certain geographies, politically, financially sensitive content, privacy is becoming a differentiator rather than a fringe feature. For example, Zcash or ZAC token for Zcash recently sagged and is still saging as shielded address usage climbed, reflecting renewed interest in privacy coins. And we are also looking at the likes of Monero with their technology and user experience improvement, where privacy technology is getting better and more usable. For instance, Zcash's Orchard Pool and Halo 2 Proof improved wallet tooling, Monero's upgrades improving performance and decentralized mining, more mainstream exchange listing access, though with regulatory caveats, and improved on-chain tooling made privacy coins easier to hold and transact. There is an undercurrent of financial sovereignty as well, due to political risks. In jurisdictions with stricter currency controls, capital flow restrictions, or surveillance regimes, privacy coins become tools of financial sovereignty. This may drive demand outside the speculative altcoin market. Privacy becomes a utility more than just a gimmick. Or it might just be a case of relative undervaluation and rotation potential. Or many narratives like artificial intelligence, DeFi, infrastructure, NFTs, and so forth have had their day, getting huge hype. Privacy coins have been somewhat neglected. Thus, when sentiment shifted towards privacy, they started outperforming like we are seeing now. Several sources mention Zcash, Dash that have led privacy niche gains while the broader market struggled, like I said, facing the bear market barrel. So what could this narrative shift represent? Well, a parallel growth corridor within crypto, not just yield farms, DeFi, meme coins, but privacy-enabled money, anonymity, and financial freedom. It's also a hedge theme. As regulation increases and public blockchain transparency is the norm, a portion of capital may rotate into assets where privacy is backed in. Or could it be a realignment of use cases where moves from just store value or smart contracts to money you can use privately, as well as assets and data you control and keep private? Like we intimated earlier in this video, a renewed interest in fungibility in transparent chains. Coins carry history. Privacy coins restore interchangeability. One coin same as another, which is important in money's function. Or could it be just a sign of maturing crypto ecosystem? The fact that privacy coins are resurfacing suggests the market is not just seeking growth, but also infrastructure and freedom features. Let's move on to some comparative analysis of key projects. You got the likes of Monero and the XMR token, which has strengths in being a default on privacy. You're talking of ring signatures, stealth addresses, ring CT, means every transaction is private, widely recognized as privacy gold standard. But it also has some weaknesses. There are regulatory pressures in certain markets where Monero has been excluded or delisted from certain exchanges, but I think they're starting to list it now. Many exchanges delisted or restrict support for XMR because of anti-money laundering concerns. But when it comes to its positioning within this market, I think it is best for uncompromised anonymity. It is more niche and riskier from regulatory listing. And the darling of the current moment, Zcash and the ZEC token or coin. Its strengths include its offer of optional privacy, shielded transactions via Zcash snacks, plus a better compliance-friendlier model. For example, Zcash's optional privacy is seen as easier to thread through compliance regime, but its weaknesses include the less anonymity by default compared to Monero, and the uptake of shielded pool is still moderate. When it comes to positioning, I think it has a good balance between privacy and usability, potentially more mainstream friendly. Zcash, that's why it's exploding. Then there's Dash, which is user friendly as a payment method. For example, the instant send, optional mixing through its private send, good for retail and merchant payments with some privacy, but it still has weaknesses in privacy, which is optional and weaker than Monero or Zcash. It is good as a niche method of payment rather than full privacy asset. I think it could position itself better by being privacy enhanced for payments than hardcore anonymity. And another small token or network in Oasis, formerly Oasis Network, and this ROS token, although not a privacy coin in the rigid sense, Oasis focuses on confidential smart contracts, data tokenization, and privacy-enabled dApps. This broadens the privacy narrative into DeFi and data realm, but it still has inherent weaknesses due to its relatively smaller market size, which focuses on a smaller niche of the market. It is less focused on payments anonymity, and competition is heavy. I think Oasis could position itself better by bridging projects between privacy coins and privacy-enabled infrastructure. So which privacy coin or token is most likely to win, or does the whole niche win? I think the likely scenario is that the niche wins, with many players benefiting. It's probable that the privacy coin niche benefits as a whole, given the thematic drivers, talking of privacy demand and regulatory pressure, as well as surveillance fatigue. Multiple coins may gain rather than one dominating entirely, but so far Zcash is just running with the trophy. Each project might serve different use cases. Monero, for example, can be used for pure anonymity, Zcash for optional and privacy as well as compliance, Dash for payments, Oasis for privacy in smart contracts as well as data. Investors may allocate across the niche privacy basket rather than pick just one. If picking a single winner, I'll probably go for Zcash, which is a strong case. Why? Because it strikes a compelling balance: advanced crypto with ZK snacks, optional shielded pool where users can choose their own level of privacy, more likely to maintain exchange listing and regulatory access compared to coins with default anonymity. And data supports this. Zcash has been surging well over 700% since September of this year in 2025, and it overtook Monero in market cap within the privacy coin category. Its usability improvement, the token of wallet making shielded default, help adoption. Therefore, for privacy mid-mainstream, Zcash and the ZEC token may be best placed. As for Monero, I think it is a strong contender for hardcore privacy, but regulatory risk weighs it down. As a user, if your thesis is anonymous money and that is essential to you, Monero will survive and evade regulation. It is the gold standard. But if your thesis involves mainstream integration, compliance, and custody, Monero may face headwinds. What about Dash and Oasis? I think these two are more niche but potentially interesting flankers. Dash may benefit in payment-specific privacy scenarios, whereas Oasis may benefit in the intersection of privacy and DeFi. Risks and flashpoints to watch: regulatory crackdown, liquidity and accessibility, exchange and premium discounts, technological vulnerabilities, for example, Monero's privacy, which has been analyzed for weaknesses, and don't forget narrative shifts where other narratives take off, and the adoption path where privacy coins must move from niche technology and activists to broader use cases, moving beyond payments, data, and businesses for mass growth. My final thoughts on the privacy niche is as follows. In a crypto world increasingly lit up by look at me wallets and public address analytics, privacy coins are raising the hood and saying, not today. They are the security guards in the foyer of blockchain bowl, quietly essential, often overlooked, but increasingly in demand. If I had to cast one winner, I would lean on Zcash for now. The comfort suite of privacy, high technology, reasonable access, optional anonymity. Meanwhile, Monero remains the dark horse of uncompromised anonymity. Dash, the quicksilver payment ace, and Oasis, the privacy infrastructure vision. Ultimately, the privacy niche looks like one of the biggest under-the-radar growth avenues during 2025 into 2026. Whether one coin dominates is less important than whether everyone realizes money with no trace may matter more than money that goes, look at me. Anyway guys, what do you think about the privacy narrative? Which coin do you hold? Let us know in the comment section. Until the next one, FD for Search5.tv signing out. Bye.